Suspiria was directed by Luca Guadagnino, who directed Call Me By Your Name, and is a reimagining, remake-ish of the 1977 edition, directed by Dario Argento, who also directed Deep Red, Inferno, and a bunch of other very good Italian movies that really just, pushed, I would say pushed the boundaries. Him and Mario Bava are like two of my favorite horror directors from Italy. They are really damn good. Even as some of their movies require multiple viewings to really fully get it, as sometimes it's hard to bridge, what's horrific in Italy to what's horrific in America, but I thought they both did pretty well. Anyway, this was a very, very good slow burn movie. It is by no means a movie you can say, okay, I want everything to happen right now, right now. It is on a much slower burn. It is also about an hour longer than the original, and I haven't seen the original in a very long time, so it's going to be difficult for me to compare the original with this one. I may do a review of that someday, so I'm going to base it solely on this. The remake reimagining is fan-fucking-tastic. Very detailed. There's some very, very good, casting choices. Dakota Johnson, who played Susie, was absolutely wonderful in this. She was fantastic. She was also in the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, and she's been in other stuff. She did really, really damn well as Susie, the girl from Ohio that escaped a Mennonite home and came over to Berlin because something drew her to this dance academy that is headed by Tilda Swinton, who plays Madame Blanc, and also a couple other characters. A bit shocking. Tilda Swinton, really damn good as an actress. Really damn good, and deserves at least a nomination, in my personal opinion, for her role in this. Or at least, at the very least, consideration, if not for an Oscar, for other awards. She is really damn good in this. Mia Goth, who plays Sarah, she was also in Cure for Wellness. She was kind of the washed out girl that said to the main guy in there, "You will never leave," and then, the guy ends up getting trapped there at the hospital. And also Chloe Grace Moretz, who I'm very, very impressed with. She played Patricia. She was in the remake of Carrie, and also the American remake, or the American version of Let Me In. And there were a lot of really, really good performers in this. Some really great performances. Terrific cinematography. Like, I cannot get over how beautifully shot this movie was. This movie really was fantastic. And it used a lot of, like, jutting shots sometimes. And, like, some really good camera work where you can tell clearly that Luca was inspired by Dario. And he did, I think, honor his vision pretty well while making it his own vision. Because you can't just make a shot-for-shot remake, because then it's like Gus Van Sant's Psycho. We do not speak of that because it was a terrible goddamn movie. But to recount the plot briefly, because if you can't tell by the trailer, you get Dakota Johnson's character, Susie, arrives at this academy in 1977, this dance academy, in Berlin. And because it's 1977, you still got the Berlin Wall, so you got East Berlin, West Berlin, and you got all these divides, and the travel issues and all that stuff. She arrives there, and a lot of shit really is going down. Like, well, she grasps the concept of dancing immediately, and grasps it so damn well that Madame LeBlanc, Tilda Swinton's character, is like entranced by her and everything. And sees her as her next big star, because Patricia, played by Chloe, in the beginning is like panicking to this one doctor, all upset, they're gonna come to get me, they're coming to get me, they're coming to get me, they're coming to get me. And this doctor really was a good character too. I'm gonna get in a little bit of spoiler later. She tries to escape from this academy, but is she able to? Well, you find out later. Susie forms a bond with Sarah, and they together, are latch onto each other and are able to, figure as, Sarah's able to introduce her to this academy after Madame Blanc figures out, what is really, really good, about Susie, and, what you can work on and what I can work on with you, and what can ultimately be, how I can ultimately, how she can ultimately shape her in her dream, in her dream vision of this like perfect dancer, because she sees the potential with her, and the fact that even though she has no formal training as a dancer, she just is a goddamn natural at it. And from there, there's some there's some great music. I mean, I just want to say that right now, the music is fucking amazing. It really sets the right mood. There aren't jump scares, at least not that I noticed, or if there were any jump scares, they never bother me. And usually jump scare noises, music dies down, and then boom. There's a lot of really good, great cinematography, great music. The atmosphere is amazing. You really feel like there is something sinister going on in this dance academy, because they don't charge any money to these dancers, and they feed them, and they clothe them, and they give them board and stuff like that. So these young women can become great dancers, but what is the price? And this is where I'm going to start to get into spoilers. And this is especially for those that have seen the original. Like I said, this stuff fleshes out some stuff from the original and does, its own telling of like different things. So anyway, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to just start at about 6 minutes. So for those who don't want to tune in to spoilers, please tune away now as your warning. 3, 2, 1, go. And basically the idea is the doctor that Patricia runs to is also played by Tilda Swinton. And I didn't even know that until I checked later, and I go, holy goddamn crap. And she was amazing as a doctor. The doctor that lost his wife during World War II, and it's haunted him, and he's this doctor that plays he tries to tell young women that if you're having weird visions and stuff like that, or if you're, this kind of stuff, you're crazy. I'm not going to actually listen to your stuff. You're absolutely crazy. And he tells Patricia she's basically crazy. But then figures out later that shit's really going down. And then maybe she's not crazy. And then maybe all the stuff she was seeing is actually stuff that made a whole lot of sense. Now, it takes a while for the burn to really start to get like a good simmer going, to where shit really starts to bubble up. There is this one actress who plays the character of Olga. She is somebody that is seen as a great dancer and everything. And as things go on, it's obvious that Madame Blanc has an affection for Susie and sees such potential with Susie. So she uses some weird spells and some weird, tricks and everything, and some magic and some abilities to give Susie the abilities of some of these other girls, basically taking the essence of some of these girls, and it starts to drive them mad. This character of Olga at one point, this really, really good scene while Susie's doing her dance and everything, Olga, who was trying to leave the academy, is trapped in this dance room that's for auditions and stuff like that. And that was a really, really good scene earlier, actually, where Dakota Johnson's character did this performance without music and was just able to do this great interpretive dance and clearly show she had a passion for it. And even though she needed to learn stuff, she was self-taught, and it was a really, really good scene. Like, some of the best scenes actually in this movie were done without music. This was really, really good. I cannot get over just how fantastic this movie was. And what was great about it is taking elements of the original and recognizing the original and making it your own without disrespecting the original material. And I'm sure that Dario was consulted on this, and may have even sat in on the set. I didn't read too much in on that. But there's this sinister plot of these 3 particular mothers. And that, is like the underlying thing in this academy, these 3 mothers that are all essentially dark spirits and stuff like that, of varying degrees and stuff like that. And you find out the names as you go on. Marcos, in particular, is one that keeps getting referenced. And as things go on, like I said, that whole thing with Olga and Susie, as Susie's dancing, Olga's body is just getting contorted and just battered around and stuff like that. And a really good scene that was really good. There were a lot of really good practical effects for a good while. Now, yeah, they got into some special effecty stuff later. I don't even think special effecty is a word, but they got into that stuff a little bit later on. And did make it look pretty cool. It really did look good. There was some tricky stuff towards the end that maybe I didn't necessarily agree with. That was like a little bit weird. It was trying to be almost a little too artsy. But at the same time, especially taking in the original and taking in this reimagining, remake, whatever you want to call it. Really, I think both films are just about as good as you can get. Now, this one I actually think is a bit superior to the original because it fleshes some stuff out more. But yeah, you find out as things go on, why is Susie so good at dancing and why does she seem so eager to learn, this dance and everything and honor, and honor the spirit of dance so well and not, being frazzled by any of the scary shit that's going on. Well, of course, as they have, stuff told in flashbacks, you see this, you see flashbacks of like her being raised in a Mennonite home and on a Mennonite farm. And then you see later, and the mother is like sickly and stuff like that and having to be bathed. And the mother is basically bedridden. You find out the mother is basically saying to this priest, because they're very deeply religious, the Mennonites, that she knew her child was evil. And that's where this whole thing comes in. That Susie actually is an incarnation of evil. An incarnation of very good... I mean, she's an incarnation of darkness, but maybe not necessarily just pure evil. She's one of the mothers. That's essentially what the whole thing is. That's basically what it comes down to. And this is actually going to be the first part of a trilogy, and that was the original intention of Dario. And I believe it was Suspiria, Inferno, and Mother's Tears, or something like that. And I could be wrong, but I know Suspiria and Inferno are the first two. And the idea of this movie was just to create a really good, fleshed out, really good performance-driven, cinematography-driven, and music-driven movie. This was very atmospheric and very well done. And I mean, it's one of those where you really have to just go and watch it yourself. I will say that there is a sequence towards the end where it's this ritual and just shit goes everywhere, like blood and heads exploding and all this stuff. It is really well done. Even as it gets, that's a bit much. There is some gore as things go on after Olga's body gets contorted and all that stuff. There are some shots with hooks where her body's carried away. There's a lot of good things in this movie. There are some disturbing things where I'm like, okay, that's a bit much. But what was nice about it was handled so well and so professionally that there is nothing really that I can say about this movie that's bad. Now, yes, okay, does it drag on a bit? You could argue there could be some scenes that could have been cut down, maybe some scenes that could have been left out. No scene in particular drug the movie down, but I'm just saying you could have cut certain things out, and maybe it wouldn't have mattered. You could have cut the length of some scenes down, but still, if you're going to try to do a reimagining, remake of a movie like this, and you want to tell your own vision, and you want to make it and you want to make it as detailed as possible and have the best use of the technology now, you might as well just go for broke. And yeah, it's a bit long. If you don't like slow burn movies, you're not going to like this. If you're not willing to sit there and take in a movie and let the movie take you in, then you may not like this. But personally, I enjoyed the movie. I'm going to have to say this. I think the movie is fantastic. I'm going to have to give it an A. There's one other movie I give an A to, and that was A Simple Favor. You guys can check that out. I'll put a playlist at the end of this video so you guys can check that out. But A, it's something you're going to have to go into and really just appreciate. The ending is fantastic. It's very well done, but it's amazing that Tilda Swinton played three characters in this, but she played two characters that got so much screen time, the Doctor and Madame Blanc, and that was just really, really good. I really did appreciate her role, and Dakota Johnson really did impress me. Now, I've seen her in a few other things, but it's like the thing she was most known for was the 50 Shades trilogy, and roles like this will help her shed the, commercial success, but the fact that those movies were basically shit. Everyone in the cast did very, very well. Everyone got really good time without getting too into the backstories. They got some well-rounded characters out of this. And yes, there were some expendable ones. Quite a few I didn't actually remember the goddamn names, but there was some good stuff, some really good gore, some really good practical effects. As I said before, great cinematography, great music, great direction. It was just all around really, really damn well done. So A, I'm going to give it an A. I can get why some people may not like this, especially if you haven't seen the original or if you haven't seen that much Italian horror. If you haven't seen that much Italian horror, one, you probably should watch the original. Even if you won't remember it as much, that would help you with this. But if you go in just watching this, you'll enjoy it. But if you're not a fan of Italian horror, this may not change your mind. Personally, I really enjoy it. So anyway, that's what I have to say. What do you guys have to say? Did you enjoy Suspiria? Did you enjoy the original more than this one? Did you enjoy them both equally? Did you enjoy one more than the other? And what are some of your favorite Dario Argento movies? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if there are some I haven't seen. Mario Bava. Let me know some of those in the comments. I would love to check out some more stuff. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Riplin, and I will see you soon.